The afternoon's choreography of statements from Berlin, Paris, London, Brussels, the US, could almost have been set to music, a delicate yet slightly hesitant waltz between optimism and apprehension. Zelensky and the German Chancellor Merz stood before the cameras, all flags and smiles, and spoke of positive outcomes from their call with Donald Trump. The key was reassurance. Trump had promised not to agree to any Russian ceasefire terms without involving Ukraine and Europe. On paper, that sounds like exactly what Kyiv wanted to hear, but the tone from leaders and commentators alike was one of guarded confidence. They've heard promises before, both from Trump and from others, that withered when the room door closed and the negotiation began. Or should I call it negotiation, or just the competition for alpha male, testosterone-driven provocation? Zelensky emphasized unity, one voice towards one mission, and stressed that everything about Ukraine must be discussed with Ukraine. Macron was even more explicit. Any territorial questions must have Kyiv at the table. Merz underlined the principle that borders cannot be changed by force and rejected any legal recognition of Russia's occupation. Keir Starmer spoke of robust and credible security guarantees. It was, in diplomatic language, as firm a collective line as you will get in public. Yet beneath these set-piece affirmations lies unease. As several commentators have noted, from Berlin's Step Vason to Helsinki's Jarmo Makela. None of these leaders will be in the room in Alaska when Trump meets Putin. That exclusion echoes earlier moments in 20th century diplomacy when key players were sidelined, March 1938 being the historical ghost most often invoked. Then as now, there was the risk of a peace agreement that functioned more as a down payment on further aggression. The fear is not just about the deal itself, but about Trump's flexibility. As Makela bluntly put it, a land swap today could be the stage for Russia's next move tomorrow. Trump has been a volatile actor in this conflict since returning to the White House in his first months. He flirted openly with the idea that Ukraine should basically agree to anything to end the war. Since then, European leaders have worked hard to bring him round, stressing the strategic value of a united transatlantic stance. Today's call, in the apparent tonal shift, represents an achievement in itself. Lucian Kim of the International Crisis Group noted that Trump has now recognized that he cannot solve this without Europe, a marked change from his earlier posture, and Europe's leverage lies in three areas. Economic pressure. European banks hold hundreds of billions in frozen Russian state assets. Trade dependence. Russia's pre-war economy was far more reliant on Europe than on the US. And military logistics, the NATO network that sustains Ukraine's defense, is overwhelmingly Euro-Atlantic. Trump may not always relish European Council, but he knows their absence would cripple any enforcement of a peace deal. And despite the reassurances, the risk matrix remains daunting. Putin is a practiced negotiator who thrives in one-on-one settings. The absence of Zelensky or any EU leader in the Alaska room creates precisely the environment in which concessions can be slipped into the diplomatic text under the guise of pragmatism in pidgin English, with or without a translator approved by Putin. Macron's claim that Trump will fight for a trilateral meeting is encouraging, but even that is not the same as securing one before talks begin. The diplomacy is not taking place in a vacuum. On the ground, Russian forces have just made their largest 24-hour advance in over a year, pushing 10 kilometers near Pokrovsk. Zelensky warns this is part of a bluff. Battlefield pressure to strengthen Putin's hand in Alaska. The urgency is clear. Without a ceasefire, the map could change before negotiators finish their coffee. What does guarded confidence mean here? It's the belief that Trump's words today are sincere, balanced with the knowledge that tomorrow's actions may not match them. It is just tied to a short leash, a short dog chain, accompanied by contingency planning. Leaders are signalling unity while preparing for the possibility that Friday produces nothing, or worse, produces a deal that weakens Ukraine. European capitals will now work on two tracks. Track one: provide Trump with a clear, unified set of red lines before Alaska. No recognition of annexation. Ukraine at the table. Ceasefire first. Security guarantees embedded. Track two: prepare a pressure package, sanctions escalation, military aid boosts in case Putin refuses or Trump drifts towards accommodation. NATO's Mark Rutte put it neatly, the ball is in Putin's court, and no one doubts that the umpire in this match will be Donald Trump. The day's statements show Europe and Ukraine have, for the moment, Trump's ear. They also show how fragile that hold is. Guarded confidence is not an end state, it's a holding pattern, an attempt to shape an outcome before it is shaped in a room for which you have been excluded. The next 24 hours will test whether these reassurances were substance or staging, and history suggests that the only certainty is that the work will begin again as soon as the Alaska meeting ends.